Here's why the USC Trojans will beat the Illinois Fighting Illini despite the long travel, the early kickoff, and Illinois likely being an angry football team coming off their 63-10 loss to Indiana. USC is a strong program. They are well coached. They are very talented. And Lincoln Riley and USC are mad and looking for something to prove. I picked USC to win this game in a close one. I think I picked them to win anywhere between a field goal and a touchdown plus the extra point. So 3 to 7 points. Wouldn't necessarily be shocked if USC wins in a blowout or if Illinois pulls off the upset. Today, we're going to be taking a look at things from a USC angle, and I'm going to give you 10 reasons why I think USC should win this football game. Later, I will also release a video detailing 10 reasons why Illinois should win this game. I think that this is going to be a very interesting and entertaining game, and I think it's a character test for both teams to test the fortitude of USC on the road and how Big Ten ready are they after definitely making improvements from last year. Just how many have they made? And it's a character test for Illinois after that horrific loss that they suffered. But let's talk about USC and my angle on them and my 10 reasons. Before we do so, make sure to like the video and watch it all the way through. Make sure to hit the notification bell, not just for the channel, but for the USC and Illinois football playlists that are linked to the video or that you can find on my channel under the playlists tab. That way you can get notified when I react to this game, when I release my 10 reasons why Illinois video, and also my reaction to this game and future coverage of these teams. I'm going to be covering Illinois versus Purdue, Illinois versus Ohio State, probably most of the remaining games of each of these teams, certainly for USC as well. So you'll want to hit that bell and comment your thoughts down below. But let's get right to it. And reason number one here is USC has a pretty sizable lines of scrimmage advantage, mostly comparing both offensive lines. Comparing both defensive lines, I think, yields very strong and interesting debate. Talent-wise, I'd go with USC there, but proven production, I don't know. I know for a fact, though, that USC's offensive line is the superior unit. Illinois' in theory preseason, there was an argument that it was, deeper and more experienced, but I never really bought into Illinois' offensive line for a second preseason because a lot of it was bad returning production. Alani Noah and Elijah Page, good returning production from last year. Justin Ta'anu, hopefully I pronounced his name properly. He's taken a big step up. Tobias Rainman and Killian O'Connor have also taken a step up. And you have some depth there at center with John Ray Reed, who came over from Syracuse, was projected to start but did not, still being in that rotation. It's not necessarily a deep offensive line, but that starting lineup has performed incredibly well. They've only allowed a 5.2% havoc rate, which is among the nation's best. Illinois' offensive line has allowed a 17.1% havoc rate. And havoc rate is the percentage of plays your offense allows that are sacks, TFLs, passes defended, interceptions, forced fumbles, turnovers, and I even just think plays that are stopped for no gain might be havoc plays. USC just offensively is a lot more put together and consistent than Illinois. A lot of that starts on the lines of scrimmage. Reason number two is USC's high efficiency. So they are second behind Oregon in both adjusted expected points added per play and points per play margin. These are, talk about the Pac-12 owning people left and right. And then Washington is loved analytically as well. Top 25 team per FPI. And then Utah, we know they're good. Arizona State, even with the loss they suffered, is good. Arizona looks improved. The Pac-12, rest in peace to it. Seeing this year how Oregon performed last season, even though everyone else was kind of down from the ex-Pac-12, and then how the Pac-12 performed in 2023. I think if the Pac-12 had stayed together, there would be a good chance that over the following seasons, you would have seen a Pac-12 team win it all. More specifically from USC and Oregon. But point stands. A lot of good teams from that former league, and rest in peace to that. I know a lot of USC fans watching this probably miss it. But USC, when you have plus almost a half point expected play or expected points added per play, that's That's crazy. That means you're well above average. You're elite in margin of victory. Most of that comes from USC's offense, but a little comes from the defense too. This is a defense that is more talented, better, and I think deeper than last year's. And the points per play margin is describing something similar. 0.524 points per play margin. That means for every one of their plays compared to every one of their opponent's plays, USC outscores their opponents by about half a point per play, which is crazy. It's insane efficiency. Reason number 3, their roster's healthier. Now, I did just look at a report on Twitter, Brett Bielema talking about how all of his defensive backs outside of, I forget which Scott it is, Miles Scott or Xavier Scott. I think it's Xavier Scott who's out for the year. All the other Illinois DBs did practice, but Illinois physically got destroyed and had their manhood taken away from them against Indiana. Jacoby Lane, I don't know if he's out for this game or if he's going to play. Riley said that he was out indefinitely. But as of right now, I would say USC has the healthier roster. If this game is close and it comes down to attrition, say it's a close physical game, not necessarily maybe a game where both quarterbacks are going back and forth, and then I would still lean USC, but at that point I wouldn't exactly know. At that point, that kind of just comes down to the quarterback making one wrong play on one side before the other QB messes up. But if it comes down to a really physical contest here, USC should be able to outlast Illinois because they are the healthier team. And I think that matters especially for USC because Illinois is older, and I think at some parts they actually are deeper, and their second stringers wouldn't be a huge drop-off from their first stringers like for USC. So that health difference, I think, benefits USC quite a good bit here. Number 4 is their pass rush. So USC forces a 16.3% havoc rate on their opponents. They got a ton of pressure on Michigan State. Now, Michigan State's pass protection ain't all that good, but neither is Illinois', if we're being honest. I don't know which between those is better. I'd be inclined to say probably Illinois', but Michigan State can actually run block. USC knows what I'm talking about. I don't think Illinois can run block all that well. They more lean on you when their backs are physical, and that's why their run game can take over towards the end. I think USC's pass rush here is live to get, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 sacks and a ton of pressure. We'll see how this game pans out, but the fact that they have the better offensive line and in terms of pass rush and pass protection, USC beats Illinois probably on both sides there. That's encouraging. Reason number 5 is what I like to call, and a term that Baldfather Betts coined on his channel, good friend of the show, is Michigan versus Georgia theory. 2021 Michigan versus Georgia theory, to be precise. This is a theory that if you have two teams and they want to do the exact same stuff, but one team is better at every position, that team is going to win in a blowout. That is part of the big reason why Indiana destroyed Illinois, is that theory. Here, I think it doesn't apply to the same degree, but USC has great running backs, better than Illinois', who can break yards, get to the outside. Their offensive line is better. USC can run the football a lot, not just situationally, but they can run it over and over and over again and have success. They have better quarterback play, more efficient quarterback play. They can run RPO stuff pretty well. Illinois likes to run that. And then defensively, I think that the similarities aren't quite so clear there, but with the injuries to Illinois' secondary, and that's been an issue with USC's defense so far, I don't know how many strengths Illinois has over this USC team. So maybe I'm overusing this term a little bit. I haven't used it for any of my other 10 reasons why videos quite. So Oregon, Penn State, for example, there could be some of that roster-wise, but I think that Oregon and Penn State want to do things very differently offensively, and I would even argue defensively. They want to do very different things. Here, offensively, I think there are some similarities, and I think USC is just better. Reason number 6, the running backs, just talking about them. Waymon Jordan and Eli Sanders. USC's averaging over 7 yards per carry this year. You look at their yards per carry, it's actually 7.7. I think if you take out sacks and take out knee downs, They have a 56.5% rushing success rate. The only team with a higher rushing success rate, just scrolling through the list here, doesn't exist. They have the highest rushing success rate in all of America. Pretty legit, if I do say so myself. The team that is the next closest, I believe, is Navy. Service Academy. So USC's done a really good job at running the ball. It's not just because their offensive line and Lincoln Riley's schemes, which are really good at getting great offensive lines and running backs to gel and run all over people. It's because of Jordan and Sanders, too. Maiyava's another reason why this rushing attack excels, but he has a 95.5 QBR, first in America there. 9 touchdowns, is completing 3 out of every 4 of his pass attempts, 76.9%. Has 1,223 passing yards, and USC's averaging 13.13 yards per drop back. That only trails Florida State, and Florida State doesn't pass the ball as much. Florida State has that many yards per drop back because they played 2 garbage opponents and they caught Alabama's defense early. Florida State in no way has even close to not just the passing attack, but even the offense that USC does. Maiyava has been playing like a Heisman caliber quarterback. I wouldn't be shocked if his efficiency numbers continue to be replicated, but as USC plays tougher defenses, that maybe more of the game gets put on him and he could be in New York at the end of the year. Reason number 8 is Makai Lemon versus those Illinois corners. It's a big mismatch in favor of Makai Lemon. Now, a concern I have for USC that I think is a reason why Illinois should win, and that I'll address there in that video that's coming out soon, will be linked in the reply to the pinned comment, by the way, for context. Same with my USC versus Illinois preview and prediction video. You should watch that if you haven't already. If Lane is out, I think that Illinois will be able to put more than one person on Lemon and really be able to limit these wide receivers if Lane is out. But that's an if. I don't know if that's going to happen. And even if it does, they'll be able to limit USC's receiver core. But this point still stands. Lemon is so talented. He's a future NFL wide receiver that here and there he'd be able to get open, even if he is really the only receiver that can punish these corners and DBs. Still probably would get a big play, maybe multiple big plays. Maybe he could even take over the game by himself if Lane is out. He is that talented of an athlete. I think that USC's run defense has had issues this year. I think that Penn State, for example, would run all over them. I like them even less against Oregon now than I did in the preseason, and I hated how USC matched up against Oregon. Ohio State's kind of they could be a better version of USC if they wanted to outside of the rushing attack, but they're good enough defensively to maybe cause issues. I don't know. USC'd probably match up better with Ohio State than Oregon, Penn State, because Ohio State can't run the ball as effectively. So USC would have some more advantages there, but Ohio State, I still think, would win. Michigan, I like Michigan against USC more than preseason because, all that being said, not trying to disparage USC here, my point is their run defense has issues. And USC fans have pointed this out. Georgia Southern game, the Purdue game, a little bit of the Michigan State game. I don't think it's going to be a problem here if USC can maintain a lead and if they can make plays on defense. Because Illinois' rushing offense is predicated on bullying you and wearing you down. They are not an explosive unit that comes out of the gate and immediately establishes control. It takes time. So I don't know if that'll be a problem here, and that certainly benefits USC because that's one of their weaknesses as a team is run defense. And reason number 10 is their talent edge. They're deeper at certain positions. Their starters straight up are more talented than Illinois. And a part of that isn't just because of recruiting rankings. It's also because they've been coached better. I think USC has a better staff, and maybe I should have put that as reason number 10 more than the talent edge. But I also do think that Illinois is a good staff. I think the biggest separator between these teams, outside of what I've already talked about, is that talent edge there. USC should expect to win. They're only 6.5-point favorites, but I've picked them to win, and these 10 reasons are a huge part of the reason why. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and comment your thoughts down below. I will see you all very soon. Have a great day.